As one form of influence fades, another rises to take its place. Is change the only constant over time? Today, we want to talk about evolution. Evolution mirrors the human brain, advancing through experience, learning, adapting, and improving to meet new challenges. It's a continuous state of change. New technologies are constantly being developed and deployed to produce power more efficiently and sustainably. This is the mission GoodWe has embraced over a decade. By delivering smart solar energy solutions, we pave the way for individuals, businesses, and communities to transition to renewable energy.
The evolution in the energy industry we experience today is actually part of a long-standing process. In this journey, GoodWe is committed to being a major driving force, accelerating the smart energy transition.
By combining our self-developed hardware and software products, our comprehensive, integrated, future-ready solutions are making power production and consumption easier, greener, and smarter. Inverters are at the core of our complete product portfolio, trusted by homeowners, business owners, and large-scale project developers worldwide. Our online intelligent platforms further streamline energy management, enabling optimal system control and performance. Particularly, we've established ourselves as an industry leader in energy storage solutions. The development of GoodWe is driven by product innovations, strategically guided by market trends. Backed by substantial R&D investments, we are proud to deliver high-quality and innovative products to over 100 countries. Our global presence is powered by 5,000 employees and a network integrating manufacturing, sales, and service. Our local teams across different regions allow us to balance our global vision with local customer needs.
Together with our employees and partners, we are doing something truly positive and meaningful with a win-win outlook. This gives us a strong sense of mission.
That's the power of GoodWe, and it's why customers around the world continue to trust us. Energy evolution is a continuous journey. We believe the world will be a better place because of smart energy. And along the way, we will always be GoodWe.
Caroline?
Yes, Patrick, I think we can start.
Okay. Welcome everyone to the GoodWe online webinar that will be focusing on the residential hybrid solutions, which is actually our latest solution that we've launched into the market to tackle the new demands and the new requirements that we've gotten feedback from, that is for the African continent. Now, just the video you've seen is an introduction to the GoodWe portfolio, a bit of it, and you've actually seen our factories, how we do keep up with quality and technology and smart features. And you've also seen our HQ fully powered by the GoodWe products. Now, let's start into the main topic that we'll be handling today, which is the residential hybrid solution for the three-phase homes. Now, to begin with, I would like to showcase to you the agendas or the contents that we'll be focusing on today. So first off, I'll take you through a brief introduction of the company, GoodWe company portfolio. Then I'll introduce you to the latest products, three-phase hybrid product that we've launched, which is the ETLV, low voltage. Then our high power, low voltage batteries. First off, we'll begin with the Lynx A generation 3. Then I'll take you through the next battery series, which is the BAT14. Then I will take you through a number of application scenarios in which you can combine these, the inverters and one of the batteries to execute a number of solutions or scenarios. Now, the GoodWe company portfolio. So what's GoodWe? GoodWe is a company that's focused on PV inverter and battery manufacturing. And we do have a mission, which is to drive the world towards a smart energy future. And as of now, we are already accomplishing our mission, of which we are one of the major driving forces globally that is transitioning the globe towards a sustainable, smart energy future. So what's the history of GoodWe? We have a number of moments that GoodWe has gone through. There are lots of moments, but I'll highlight the key features, key moments that I would like you to know. So to begin with, GoodWe was established back in 2010. So by this year, we'll be having our 5th anniversary. This year, November, 15th anniversary, that is. Now, right after being launched or being established in 2010, GoodWe started as an residential PV inverter manufacturer. So you should be assured that our residential inverters have been in the market and have been tested, they're advanced, and the solution that we are providing has been tested for over 15 years. Now, apart from dwelling into the PV inverter manufacturing, GoodWe managed to expand into different continents, the Australian market, the Asian market. We further managed to develop our own monitoring systems and softwares for our products. So we not only manufacture the inverters and the batteries, we also have other products that we develop, but just like the softwares and the monitoring systems and other accessories like the smart meters and the controllers and the like. So the whole solution that GoodWe will offer you for a residential home and even the C&I and the utility, the packages is fully GoodWe. You have only one contact to help you with the servicing. Now, with that in the expansion of the market to the European market, GoodWe got enlisted in the Shanghai Stock Exchange back in 2020. So we are financially stable. And with that stability, GoodWe managed to get other production lines, other subsidiaries, like the BIPV, Building Integrated PV Manufacturing. And as of last year, we developed our heat pumps for the residential and such kinds. And this year, GoodWe managed to get Ghana a very important award. GoodWe managed to become a tier 1 PV inverter manufacturer. And apart from that, GoodWe also dwelled into various competitions which focus on technology, smartness, and ease of operation of the products. And we managed to garner the Red Dot design this year with one of our products, which is the ET Generation 2 and the Lynx D series. So as you can see, we have top quality, we have history of as service assistance, we have history of stability, history of being a top manufacturer, tier 1 PV manufacturer. So those are the GoodWe moments. So this is actually the main topic this year, GoodWe becoming a tier 1 PV inverter manufacturer. As you might have noticed, we do have the markets flooded with lots of inverters, lots of inverter brands, lot of inverter manufacturers, but not all of them are tier 1 PV inverter manufacturer. Only a handfuls are tier 1 PV inverter manufacturers. So what is tier 1 PV inverter manufacturer? What gotten from? So your financial stability, your manufacturing capacity, your own brand, how to develop your own brand, your service, your support, your history, the quality of your products, all these matters, all these topics are the ones which garner into a manufacturer being a tier 1 PV inverter manufacturer. So GoodWe is actually a tier 1 PV inverter manufacturer, which is the highest level of production that you can find out here. Now with tier 1, doesn't come just by a whiff. We have a number of awards that we've won over the years. We have products that have won for top brands for 5 consecutive years. We have become a residential hybrid inverter supplier, number one, position one. Top 5 global PV inverter shipments, financial stability, tier one, EcoVadis Silver. We have quality awards from Land. We have design, the Red Dot Design Awards. So this is just a number of the awards that we have just to bank on the back up the tier one level or stature that GoodWe has. Now, with that noted, I'd like to introduce you to the main topic that we'll be discussing today, which is a three-phase residential hybrid inverter manufacturer, inverter brand called the ETLV. And these are the benefits that you'll be getting from the ETLV. So what are the power ranges of the ETLV? We have the smallest, which is the 5 kilowatt, and they are packaged up to the 20 kilowatt. So 5, 6, 8, 12, 15, and 20 kilowatt. So these are three-phase. So we have the 400 volts line to line. And for line to neutral, we have the 230. It's a low voltage inverter. So we'll be using 48 volts battery system. I'll take you through the battery brands that are compatible with this inverter. Apart from the inverter being compatible with lithium batteries, it's also compatible with lead acid batteries. So if you have a client who's still banking on the lead acid batteries before they fade, they die out, you can still install the ETLV, and then later on you can swap the lead acid batteries with the GoodWe lithium-ion batteries. Because three-phase homes are not that perfectly balanced in terms of loads on each phase, the ETLV is capable of outputting 150% power, which is unbalanced. Yeah. And with that, in case your system is dying out, your batteries are dying out, the inverter is smart enough to switch on the generator. It does come with a dedicated AC generator port, of which you can connect your diesel generator to. And two options: you can switch on the generator and let the generator handle the loads of the house, or you can also switch on the generator to allow the generator to charge the batteries that you have just for the emergency purposes. And before it even switches on the generator, in case the grid fails, the ETLV offers seamless switching. So most brands out here, you'll get seamless switching of, let's say, 10 milliseconds, 20 milliseconds. ETLV comes with less than 4 milliseconds switching. So your appliances won't even sense that they're also blackout from the grid side. And if you have a home that keeps on growing in terms of electrical appliances, then that is not an issue, because with the ETLV, you can scale up your system from a single inverter all the way to 10 inverters installed in a single system, working as one, whether it's hybrid or completely off-grid. Talk about off-grid. Sometimes you'll notice that you have a very small window of, let's say, supporting your house or even fully charging your batteries. Now, with the ETLV, you can oversize your PV capacity, your solar PV capacity, to be double the inverter rating. So 200% PV oversizing. So a 10 kilowatt, you can connect up to 20 kilowatt peak of PV. This I will explain in the upcoming slides, but generally it's to allow you to support your house, the electrical loads, as well as charge your batteries efficiently and even faster. The solution is battery ready. And in this sense, you can actually install the ETLV without a battery. Then later on, you can recommission the same system by adding a battery to it. So it's a battery-ready system that can be easily commissioned using either your smartphone or even the LCD touchscreen that comes with the product. The touchscreen is colored, has both button and touchscreen capabilities. So those are just the benefits of the ETLV at a glance. And apart from the technical benefits, you can actually see how the ETLV looks like. It's sleek, it's compact, comes with an LCD screen at the front. The connection of the cables, the airflow is from the bottom. So yeah, you can see the ports for the PV. It's a hybrid inverter, so we have the PV ports, we have the battery ports, And you also have the AC port for the generator, for the grid side, and for the critical loads, the cooling fans. You have a port for connecting the dongle. Yeah, so these are the connection terminals that you have for the ETLV. So purchasing the GoodWe, all GoodWe products that you purchase are actually a one-stop solution. So what do you mean by one-stop solution? As you can see, the ETLV comes with a number of accessories. We have the accessories for mounting and connecting the cables, both DC and AC. We have CTs, current transformer, packaged with the inverters. And because it's a three-phase hybrid inverter, you'll be getting three CTs. The inverter comes with an internal smart meter, but then that's optional. You can use the internal smart meter if the distance from the city is short. If the distance where you clamp your CT to the inverter is long, then you have an option of including another external smart meter just for accuracy purposes. But just to get this through, we offer a number of accessories. Apart from those, we have the lead acid temperature sensor, we have the communication cables, and the likes. So all these accessories are just to ensure that your installation is done in a much more smooth manner. Now that's with the ETLV. So it is a hybrid system for the residential home. And since GoodWe also manufactures lithium-ion batteries, I would like to introduce you to the Lynx A Generation 3 battery, which is a lithium-ion battery. And yeah, so one battery module is 5 kilowatt hour, and you can scale up or parallel this system to be 30 pieces of battery in a single system. So from 5 kilowatt hour to 150 kilowatt hour. It is a low voltage battery, lithium iron phosphate. It has a high charge and discharge current. Now, if you have inductive loads in your home, this battery, the Lynx A Generation 3, allows you to discharge your battery at 1.5 C. Now, couple this battery to the ETLV, which allows you to offer a surge overload of double the inverter rating. Combining the ETLV and the Lynx A Generation 3 will fully allow your house to be fully backed up. Whether you have inductive loads or not, the combination of Lynx ETLV and the Lynx A Generation 3 will be handling all of your loads in the house. Now, the battery is safe and reliable. We're using the latest technology in terms of cells, in terms of communication, the BMS itself, the inverter itself has the actual circuit interrupter. So everything is covered in terms of safety and reliability. Updating your system should not be a hassle because as long as your system is online, has access to the internet, and you have a monitoring portal for the same plant, GoodWe or even you yourself as a maintenance technician, you can remotely upgrade the firmwares and the softwares of both the inverter and the battery itself. So this takes out the hassle for the operation and maintenance for the GoodWe system. And yes, it is largely scalable, and this matches the ETLV scalability. So the ETLV can be scaled from 1 piece to 10 pieces. That gives you around, if you're doing on a higher end, then you can have a 200 kilowatt three-phase system for a home or even a real estate. And you can have 150 kilowatt hour for every bank that you have on the ETLV. So that's the Lynx A Generation 3 features at a glance. And how does it look like? As you can see, it's very simple. We have the LEDs at the front, we have the communication ports at the front, we have an on-off button. The battery itself allows a black start capability, so you can commission your system just by using the battery, power from the battery alone to set up your inverter. So black start capability is a feature that's very unique for the GoodWe battery system. The battery comes with a hanger just to allow you to lift and position and all that. It's an indoor battery. So yeah, just to offer on affordability and all, we do offer indoor batteries, the Lynx 8 Generation 3. And if you're doing the scaling up, you want to add more batteries. The battery itself does come with a mounting brackets. This is a floor-mounted mounting bracket. Easy to assemble. So as you can see, it's just around 5 steps. Pull out the hangers, install the bracket at the front, bracket at the back, and repeat for the next battery, which you'll be putting on top of the battery below. So that's how easy it is to scale up your Lynx Air Generation 3. Now, the next battery will be the BAT, the BAT14, which is a latest version that we've just launched into the market as well. It's a very unique battery, as you will see. It's very cost effective. Let me just showcase to you what we have as BAT14. So for example, we have a 1-year maintenance free. So the battery itself can be left in the warehouse for over a year without the need for maintenance. Need for maintenance meaning the charging cycles. So it can stay with the same amount of charge for over 1 year. We have over 6,500 cycles for the battery. That's a very elongated use of life. Apart from that, the battery operates at a very wide operating temperature. And the scalability of BAT14 is up to 16 pieces. So each single module of the BAT14 is 14.3 kilowatt hour. You can do 16 pieces of that. And then, yeah, you have a very scalable system in terms of battery energy storage. The battery itself is neat. As you can see, comes with the breaker on the side. It comes with the paralleling ports, comes with the communication paralleling ports, all that. And at the front of it, we have a smart strip light that will showcase to you what's the status of the battery itself. I'll take you through the smart LED strip lights that we have. Now, the battery itself is powerful. We are capable of doing a high charge and discharge current. It's a very affordable cost of investment. So for the 14.3 kilowatt hour, a similar system, similar sizing of that kind, the BAT14 is actually more affordable than what you have in the market right now. It's also flexible with the compatibility of inverters. So this battery, if you have the GoodWe 3-phase hybrid inverters, you can connect this same battery to your GoodWe single-phase hybrid inverters. So our systems are actually scalable and quite affordable for the various markets that we have. Whether you single-phase or 3-phase, this same battery can work with both. But yeah, for this sense, we'll be focusing on the 3-phase residential hybrid solutions. So how does the Link BAT14 work with the ETLV? As you can see, these products are quite matched. Both of them are neat. They have smart technologies, smart innovations in terms of storage, in terms of applicability. And yeah, as you can see, they are very much blending with the backgrounds or the wall colors of various residential homes. Now, I mentioned that we do have a smart strip light for the BAT14. This is how it glows. This is how it operates. These are the status that you can see. For example, the purple light that you see, that's the purple circle that you see. We call it the breathing light. It gives you the status. Once you switch on, it breathes, goes high in dim, highlight in dim, to give you the status of the battery itself. And yeah, we also have the SOC strip light that fills up in accordance to the charge level of the battery. We also do have the communication LED to show you whether the battery is achieving communication or not. We have an alarm system, which either goes red or white to show you the status, whether we have an alarm or not. We also have a button to switch on, and it also has a color to show you whether it's already switched on or not. So this combination gives you a very, let me say, snapshot operating condition of the BAT14. So just by seeing the glow of the LEDs, you will be able to see or to be able to understand what's happening with your BAT14 series. Now, the operating temperatures, I told you that's a wide operating temperature. So we can handle to the negative side, we can do negative 20 degrees. And because Africa is hot, we can go all the way to 55 degrees. without even affecting the cycles. You still have your 6,500 operating cycles for the back 14. So powerful performance regardless of these wide operating temperatures. Now, I did mention, so what we've handled just now are three products. We have the ETLV, which is a three-phase hybrid residential hybrid inverter. We have the Lynx A Generation 3, which is a 1.5C indoor battery, scalable. We also have the BAT 14, which is a 14.3 kilowatt hour scalable battery as well, with breathing lights. Looks very neat. Now, how do we apply these products to the residential hybrid systems? So first off, we have the switching time, seamless switch time. Most of the, let me say, African countries do not really have a stable grid. So, but we do know that homes don't really need or would not like to have any power interruptions just for comfort purposes, security purposes, and the likes. So with the ETLV, we have a very fast, seamless switch time, which is less than 4 milliseconds. This is above par compared to what we have in the market right now with other brands. Most brands are above 10 or above 20 milliseconds. We are very fast, less than 4 milliseconds. And your home will not even sense that the grid has a failure or a blackout of such kind. So very fast, seamless switch time, which is under 4 milliseconds. The next application is the oversize of your system. Now, if you look at the other brands that we have in the market, for example, if you're taking in a 20 kilowatt hybrid system of another brand, you can only do 20 kilowatt PV system connected to this. And it not just ends there. The output capability of such brand is a bit limited because the other brands usually on the AC side, they'll split the power rating of the inverter. So you get around 17 on the AC, then 3 on the DC to give you a total output of 20. So you get a 20 kilowatt inverter giving you a 20 kilowatt output. Now look at the GoodWe ETLV series. This is a new feature, new brand, new specs, new technology that you've involved in this. And you can see for a 20 kilowatt hybrid system for a home, you can connect up to 40 kilowatt peak of PV. Now, how do you use this 40 kilowatt peak? The inverter itself can still output 20 kilowatt to support your loads, your AC, and then the remaining oversized PV system, which is also 20 kilowatt, can be used to charge your batteries. So technically, if you look at this, you're actually buying a 40 kilowatt inverter, but still rated at 20 kilowatt. You have a 20 kilowatt output on the AC. At the same time, you have a 20 kilowatt output to the DC to charge your batteries. This allows you to maximize on your PV system, maximize on the short sunlight hours that you have to fully charge your system, allow your system to operate off-grid in case you're doing a purely off-grid system. And yeah, in case the grid is there, then the whole system can still connect to the grid and support any other grid-connected loads. So flexibility and maximization of self-consumption is a very key feature for the ETLV series. Now, if you'd look for the various homes that we have, initially the residential market was transitioning from the grids tied systems, and now we now have hybrid systems. Now, with the GoodWe ETLV system, the same I mentioned before that we have a diesel generator port. Now, that diesel generator port is not a fixed port, it's configurable. You can still use it as an connection or as an input from a grid-tied inverter. If you have a grid-tied inverter, whether it's GoodWe or even another brand, you can still connect it to the same diesel generator port. Why would you do that? Because with the ETLV solution, you can achieve the microgrid scenario. So what is microgrid? Now, you do have your critical loads connected on the backup port of the ETLV. In case the grid fails, then the ETLV will still allow the on-grid inverter to continue generating and both the ETLV will be powering the critical loads which are on the backup port. This allows you to utilize the existing PV system along with the new technology that GoodWe has brought in, and then your system will be expanded in terms of capacity, in terms of usage, in terms of functionality as well. So both inverters can then operate off-grid and support your backup loads as well as charging your battery. So you can fully go off-grid in case the grid fails. Now that is the microgrid solution that the ETLV can achieve. Another solution that we are offering through the ETLV is the generator solution. Now, most homes that we have in the African market, because of the unstable grid, they do have generators connected to them. Now, these generators can still be integrated with the ETLV because we have a dedicated AC diesel generator port. The combination of the AC port and how the system works is very smart. In case your grid has failed and your system has been using your battery and your battery level is now almost running out, then the ETLV can smartly switch on your diesel generator to power your home. Now, it does not end there. Before it even switches on the diesel generator, you can choose what times during the day or night that the ETLV can allow the generator to switch on, because you don't want noise at night or maybe noise in the early morning because of the diesel generator sound. You can also choose the idle stand time duration that the generator requires before it fully gets powered, gets a complete power from the output. You can choose what times to start, what time to stop. You can choose the operating ranges of the voltage or even the frequency that the generator is outputting, because the diesel generator outputs depends on the age and the maintenance schedule that's done on the generator. So with the aging of the generator, you can still adjust these acceptable voltage or frequency ranges. You can also select the capacity of the generator connected to the inverter itself. So we have a very smart way in which you can integrate your diesel generator to the ETLV itself. Another feature is the smart load control. Now, the same diesel generator port, apart from being connected to diesel generator, apart from being connected to on-grid inverter, the same port can still be configured to be an output to some certain big loads. Now, these certain big loads are the ones which can, let's say, surge, or you do not want them to drain your batteries too much, such that if you're still working off-grid, and you do not want to consume your batteries too much with the big loads, then the inverter has a smart way in which you can configure, in the sense that it can switch off or disconnect power to the big loads that are connected to the generator port and allow only the essential loads to be draining your battery. So various flexible ways in which you can use the same diesel generator port as connecting a big load, connecting a diesel generator, as well as connecting a grid-tied inverter to it. Scalability is also a very notable feature in residential houses, with houses also increasing in terms of occupancies, in terms of electrical loads and the likes, or even inductive loads. The ETLV has optional ways in which you can scale up your system. There are two options. If you're scaling up your system between 1 to 4 pieces, then you can easily use the special dongle, communication dongle called the EasyLink 3000. And if you're doing more than 4 pieces, let's say between 5 to 10 pieces, then you have the option of connecting the SEC 3000C, which is our control box. Now, the SEC 3000C allows you to connect up to 10 pieces, while the EasyLink 3000 allows you to connect or to scale up to 4 pieces. Now, with the scaling up, you can see that we have shared loads. Whether you have 10 inverters, 1 to 10 inverters, the loads are shared on both the on-grid port and the backup port. So there's no need of separating your loads just so you can do independent powering from the various different inverters. All the inverters will be sharing the loads, whether they are connected to the grid or they're working off-grid. Then we have the backup overloading. This is a key feature that takes two matters. If you have a house that now gets to consume a lot of constant load, the 20 kilowatt inverter, whenever the grid is connected, it can allow continuous support of 40 kilowatt to the backup loads continuously if the grid is available. Mark, you, I'll repeat this again. It's a 20 kilowatt inverter. We have different ranges, not just 20, from 5 to 20. So I'm picking the 20. It's a 20 kilowatt inverter. It can support 40 kilowatt load constantly on the backup port as long as the grid is available. If the grid fails and the system is working off-grid, then the 20 kilowatt inverter can support a 40 kilowatt surge load for maximum of 10 seconds to support your inrush current for the inductive loads. So if you have inductive loads in your house, this is also okay. The ETLV, whether it's working with the Lynx 8 Generation 3 or the BAT14 series, we can support 40 kilowatt of load continuously with the grid connected and 40 kilowatt load of surge for 10 seconds if you're working off grid. So yeah, that summarizes the solution that we are presenting to you, the latest products that we've just launched into the market for the three-phase residential homes in the African market. So it also brings us to the agenda, the sixth agenda, which is the Q&A. Now, in case you do have questions, just feel free to jump into the Q&A section, send your questions, and yeah, we'll be free to answer you right now live. So yeah, jump in.
Okay,
Carol?
thank you, Patrick, for such an informative session. We have a couple of questions streaming in. One from Simbarashe is BAT14 wall mount.
Yeah, so BAT14 is both wall mount and floor mount, and it comes with the bracket. So you can put it on the floor, or also you can also put it on the wall itself.
Okay. Another question is, are these products in the webinar readily available in South Africa?
Yeah, so we do have a number of distributors in South Africa as well who have the products. So in case you do have any requirements of the product itself, just feel free to reach out. This is my email, that's my WhatsApp contact. Just feel free to reach out, and I will connect you to the South African team, who will then introduce you to the distributors who have these products available.
Okay.
So yeah, those are my contacts. Yeah, Carol?
Right. A question from Paul. It's the same. Are these products available in Kenya?
Yeah, so the products are available in Kenya. Feel free to reach out as well. That's my email, that's my WhatsApp number, and I will introduce you to the distributors that we have in the Eastern Africa market.
Okay. Okay. I have a question from Kildare. Is it ideal for an inverter to be operating at 100%?
Yes, it's ideal for the inverter to operate at 100%. It will not impact your warranty. For the African market, we have a promotion of 10-year warranty on the inverter, 10-year warranty on the battery. It is ideal. And just to stretch it a bit further, the inverter itself can also work in surge conditions. So we do have various surge conditions that our inverters can operate on. So I'll also share the data sheet of the ETLV as well as the warranty, so that if you're operating at constant 20 kilowatts, constant 15, constant 5, for 5 hours, 6 hours a day, it won't really affect the inverter warranty.
Okay. A question from Edmond. If I need a 30 kilowatt inverter with 50 kilowatt batteries, is that system available?
30 kilowatt with the 50 kilo. Yes,
50
it's
kilowatt
available.
hour.
Yeah, it's available. So what we'll do is we'll just parallel scale up your system. You will either take 3 pieces of 10 kilowatts, and then you take 50 kilowatt battery, and then yeah, you have a system that works fine.
Okay, we have a question here from Simbarashe. How many MPPTs does the ETLV have?
So the ETLV has up to three MPPTs, and on each MPPT you can do 20 amp of current. So it works with the high power, high efficiency, high bifacial rated panels. So be assured that if you're doing three MPPTs with 20 amps, those are high power panels, that will be covered and it won't clip your generations or anything of the kind.
Okay, Simbarasha, I hope your question has been answered clearly. We proceed from Thomas. Okay, what will happen for a grid connected system when one or two phases of utility fail and there's no generator? What will happen for a grid connected system when one or two phases of utility fail and yet there's no generator?
So what will happen if you have the ETLV? What I'll suggest is put all your loads on the backup port so that in case on the grid side, any of the phases fails, then the inverter will ignore the grid, disconnect from the grid, and start operating off grid. And that disconnection from the grid will be under 4 milliseconds. Your loads will not sense the abnormalities on the grid, and your system will continue working seamlessly off grid. Up until the grid is okay, then the system can reconnect to the grid side.
Okay. A question by AD. Does the ETLV support other batteries?
No, I won't recommend that because the ETLV, combining it with the GoodWe batteries, which are more price competitive, technically better competitive than what you have in the market right now in terms of C rating, in terms of warranties. I wouldn't recommend that you try to do other third-party batteries. Combining the GoodWe batteries and the ETLV, you get better warranties, better service, better power condition, better meshed. It's a whole meshed operating system from the PV side to the battery side to the load side. So checking in a fully GoodWe system is a much more better option for you.
Okay, I have a question from Edwin. Is the ETLV only low voltage or we have high voltage too?
So the ETLV is strictly a low voltage system, which is cost competitive for the African market. So yeah, it's strictly low voltage battery system.
Okay, question from Paul. In most homes, the loads are typically not balanced. How does the model handle the imbalance?
So what we have a feature called unbalanced output for the backup port. If your loads are not that much balanced, so all you need to do in your phone or through the LCD of the inverter, you just need to activate this feature. And then the inverter will output power according to the demand per phase. So with the use of the unbalanced output capability, you can allow the inverter to output power according to the demand per phase for the unbalanced houses in three-phase system.
Okay, there's someone who's requesting you to repeat on the ETLV and PPTs.
Okay, so the ETLV MPPT, it has up to 3 MPPTs. For each MPPT, we can handle up to 20 amps of current. How is this important? This is because with the 20 amp current, each MPPT only has one input, and on each input we can allow 20 amps. If you're doing 20 amps of PV, that is a high power PV. Most of the PVs we have is around 16 or 17 amps, something of the kind. So we are showing that our technology is ahead of the PV market. We can handle the high power PV panels without clipping the generation. For instance, if you have a PV panel that can generate 15 amperes at full power, but your MPPT input is let's say 12 amps. The inverter will only allow 12 amps through, and the remaining 3 amps will be curtailed. It won't be allowed to go through. So you'll be losing 3 amps, yet you've installed a higher power system. But with GoodWe, we have 20 amps. So if you have a 15 amp, 16 amp, 17 amp PV panels or strings, the inverter will allow full power from your PV panels without any need for clipping. Another thing that I need to mention with our PV MPPT is that we have a very low startup voltage. Our startup voltage is so low that your generation will begin at early mornings by around 6:10, 6:20 a.m. around there, and it will keep generating all the way to around 6:30, 6:40 p.m. in the evening. So with that, you'll be having a much higher generation capabilities, longer generation times, even short sunlight hours of your day to fully generate, charge your batteries, or even support your houses.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that, Patrick. I hope that's clearer now. A question from Edmond. Is the inverter able to handle inductive loads like motors or heating elements like electric showers and ovens?
Yes. So we have surge support. For example, I mentioned that a 20 kilowatt inverter, two conditions. If the grid is connected to the inverter, then the 20 kilowatt can allow 40 kilowatts load support continuously. So 40 kilowatt continuously, yes, yet it's a 20 kilowatt inverter. Now, the other condition is your system is off-grid, but you have inductive loads. So the same 20 kilowatt inverter can support inrush power or inductive loads of up to 40 kilowatt for 10 seconds. Now, 10 seconds is actually enough to start up your inductive loads. 10 seconds, it's enough to handle the power from the heating elements. So that's already covered with the ETLV. And it's not just the ETLV, but the batteries themselves. For example, the Lynx A Generation 3 can support 1.5C discharge. So it's a fully meshed system from the PV side with the MPPTs being high power to the inverter itself on the output side, allowing surge support to the batteries themselves, which allow 1.5C discharge. So all these are the ingredients that you need to support inductive loads.
Question from Eddie. Can the inverter be connected in parallel?
Come again?
Can the ETLV be connected in parallel?
Yes. So the ETLV can be connected in parallel. It does have two ports, the on-grid port and the backup port. So both the on-grid ports can be connected in parallel and separately. Also, the backup ports can also be connected in parallel. And when we need parallel is that if you have 1 to 10 inverters, the inverters can share the same loads so that they are working in parallel to power the same loads, whether it's on-grid or off-grid.
Okay, in relation to that question, we have a question from Dan. Can you have different sizes of ETLV in the same setup?
Now, we won't want that because it brings a bit of imbalance. What we'd like to do is work on ideal scenarios. If you're doing a 30 kilowatt, you do 10 pieces, 3 pieces of 10 kilowatt. Try put them the same rating in the same system. All the inverters to be of the same rating.
Okay, I have a question from Wayne. For ETLV with two separate battery input slots, is it possible to have a hybrid setup where the BAT input one is for lithium while the other slot is for lead acid?
Okay, it is possible, but I would not want you to do that because if you have, for example, you have inductive loads, the battery port one which is lithium with GoodWe batteries will be able to handle that inductive loads. But battery port 2, because it's lead acid, and you know how lead acid work, will not be able to handle inductive loads. So your system won't be foolproof to handle the inductive loads. It's better you do both ports being lithium ion batteries so that you are fully proof that you're now going to handle your inductive loads perfectly.
Okay, a question from Edwin. How many parallel connections can the inverter handle?
Parallel connections. So up to 10
Yeah,
inverters.
okay. I have a question. So any question in regards to partnership, for that, we'll reach out to you directly to address these questions. For now, we're addressing only product-related questions. Question from Telvin. I have an issue in metering imported power on a 12 kilowatt hybrid unit. Can I add an external smart meter?
That's the yes. I believe you're still talking of the ETLV. If that's the case, then yes, we do have two options. If where you've clamped your CT and where you've mounted your inverter is more than 6 meters, then you actually need a smart meter in between, simply because the cable or the CT cable is not long enough to go beyond 6 meters, and it's not allowed to extend that cable, because if you extend that cable, then you'll be creating more burden and it leads up to inaccuracies. So to prevent inaccuracies, where you've mounted your CTs, install the GoodWe smart meter, and then the GoodWe smart meter will be communicating to the inverter efficiently and more accurately. Because once you've installed the smart meter, then the distance between the smart meter and the inverter can be up to 100 meters, but still remaining the pinpoint accuracy.
Yeah. I have a question from Wayne also. You mentioned the BAT14 is specifically for residential applications. Is it possible to continuously discharge power of 5 kilowatts for 2 to 5 hours straight? Thinking of a client within the baking industry, assuming they
Yes,
have properly sized battery bank.
yes, that is possible. So the battery itself is a 14. The discharge is almost 1C. So a 14.3 will be outputting around 13 point something kilowatts discharge. So yeah, it's possible. Once you've sized, it will support that load, and yeah, until the battery is of low level.
I have a question from Edmond. Do you have one inverter of 30 kilowatt instead of three 100 kilowatt inverters?
So what we have for the low voltage three phase, the biggest that we have is 20 kilowatts. If you're looking for three phase system high voltage, then we do have a 30 kilowatt. So two solutions. There's a low voltage for three phase. There's a high voltage battery solution for three phase. The low voltage battery solution for three phase, the biggest inverter is 20 kilowatt, while the high voltage battery solution for three phase homes, the biggest will be 30 kilowatt. So if you're looking for a single piece 30 kilowatt, then I believe you'll be going for the high voltage battery solution, because the bigger the rating of the inverter, then a more efficient system will be a high voltage battery.
We have a question from Ian on the point of paralleling inverters. If I had a 10 kilowatt inverter, then realize I need an additional 5 kilowatts, considering they aren't of the same capacity, can I still parallel them?
No, I wouldn't want that, because the inverters want to share the loads equally, there will be two inverters, but because we are sharing the loads, the system would like to split the load halfway. So in case there's a very big load that's running and the system splits the load halfway, half for this inverter, half for that inverter, then it realizes the half is more than the 5 kilowatt can support, then the 5 kilowatt will go to overload, and it's not good. So what I'll recommend is if you have a 10, then the best option is to go for 10, because we need seamless sharing of load, seamless switching, seamless operation, everything to be identical for every inverter. So the best option is to do like for like 10 kilowatt inverter, add another 10 kilowatt inverter.
A question from Bayton. Kindly get us through inverter programming of both scenarios, on grid and off grid, also in parallel. I think people kindly go to the slide to show how the ETLV can be paralleled. I think there's lack of clarity on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is let me say a diagram, single line diagram. So with the inverter, we have, apart from now it's lacking the AC generator port, but yeah, the most commonly used will be the on-grid port and the backup port. So with the KPLC or the grid line coming in, you loop, or let me say you branch out the power to the various inverters. So for this, we have 3 inverters. So the KPLC coming in, then it branches out to one of the inverters, then goes to the next, goes to the next. So that will be the on-grid port paralleling. This on-grid port has to be monitored to prevent export to grid, also to monitor the consumption from the grid. So we have CTs right on the incomer line. So the CTs can either connect directly to one of the inverters. If the inverter is too far, then you have a smart meter in between. So CT to smart meter, then smart meter to one of the inverters. One of the inverters, because if you're doing 1 to 4 pieces, then one inverter can be a master. The rest of the inverters become slaves. Now on the backup port, same thing, it branches out to each inverter. So if you have a loads connected, critical loads in the backup port, all the inverters will be outputting the same amount of power to support that load. If it's a 30 kilowatt load, then all the inverters will be outputting 10 kilowatt to support that load. If you have also loads on the on-grid port, probably 10 kilowatt or something, then each inverter will be outputting around 3.3 to support the loads on the grid on-grid port. So that's a way in which you can connect 1 to 4 pieces. If it's more than 4 pieces, the only difference is we'll not use the EasyLink 3000, but replace this with a control box called the SEC 3000C. So the SEC 3000C allows you to achieve same kind of connection, but with more number of inverters, more than 5, that is up to 10 pieces with the SEC 3000C. Now, on the software part, that will share this out later on in upcoming webinars. How we commission our hybrid inverters, residential hybrid inverters, is the same, regardless of whether it's 3-phase or single phase. How we commission them is basically the same. So we'll also do another webinar on how to commission our residential hybrid inverters.
Okay, thank you for that. At least that has answered a lot of questions which are coming in, and I hope that is clearer for you now. I have a question from Moses. Do the ETLV have an independent neutral line that does not merge with the grid to avoid reverse power to grid?
Yes. So what we do have is internally we have a relay. So you have an option of connecting that line to be independent or disconnecting it. most of the time, how we do it is when off-grid, that is whenever the grid has failed, that's when that relay is allowed to connect so that all these inverters have a common neutral, okay? A common neutral to a common neutral bar. We let the inverters connect the neutral lines internally to a common neutral when the system is working off-grid. At any point, the grid power comes back, the inverter will sense this, and all the inverters will disconnect that common neutral so that they now rely on the grid neutral line. So yeah, our system is foolproof to prevent the excessive reading on the incoming meter grids. That is with regards to the neutral line. That should not be, it's already captured in our systems.
Question by Eddie. What is the maximum charging and discharging current for the battery side?
Ooh, that I don't have it off head, but I do know the C rating in case. So the charging of one Lynx A generation 3 is around 0.9 C, while the discharging is 1.5 C. The charging of BAT 14 is around 0.86 C, while the discharging is 1 C. So generally, we say that our batteries are around 1 C charging and discharging, average 1 C charging and discharging. As for the current, we'll share the data sheets of the batteries, data sheet of the inverter, so that you get to know the specific current levels that you're working with.
Okay, I've also shared the links to each of the solutions which we've talked about, the links AG3, the BAT, and the ETLV. All you need to do is go to the webinar chat and click the link. However, we'll also share the presentation to you and also the webinar recording on email and also on our YouTube channel, which I've also shared the link on the webinar chat for your reference. Okay, a couple of questions here. A question from Eddie. How does the inverter prioritize between solar, battery, and grid during normal and backup operation?
So prioritizing is based on which mode you've chosen. We have various modes that we can select. We have backup mode, we have self-consumption. But what I'd like to talk about is the self-consumption mode, which is the mostly used, which will prioritize PV directly to the loads first. And in case there's excess, then it charges the battery. And if the PV is not enough, but we still have charge on the battery, whatever the PV will generate will support the loads directly, and the remaining will be coming from the batteries to support the loads. So with self-consumption, what we are targeting is the grid, power from the grid is secondary. Only if the system cannot support the load from the PV or the battery from both sources, that's when we'll call for power from the grid. So it's synchronized. You won't notice this. Watch how you differentiate this is through the monitoring portal. In a 24-hour duration, the monitoring portal will give you what's on the contribution ratios from the PV, from the battery, and from the grid. But generally, the priority is from the PV and the battery first before we start consuming from the grid. And if the grid fails, then we are left with the PV and the battery. So still, the first priority will be PV, direct to loads. Then if PV is not enough, then we have battery supporting. If both are not enough, then it means your battery charge level is low. Then you'll have to call in either another secondary power source. So we'll also share manuals on the ETLV so that you see which working modes we have. We'll explain all these modes that we have. We also have time of use, peak shaving, all these other kind of modes that you can use or customize according to your demands. So with the manual will also share the manuals for better understanding.
I'll give this opportunity for 3 more questions before we end the webinar. A question from Osaze, few questions. Are these inverter transformers or transformerless?
Well, because GoodWe is focused on compactness and high power generation, our inverters are transformerless. That's the reason why. If you get a transformer-based inverter, it's going to be tough to fit it on your wall or even in the small space that we have in the homes. So yeah, it's a transformerless inverter, which is better suited for the residential homes.
Okay, from the same person, what are the communication protocols? And also, can I conduct remote monitoring, GSM, 3G, 4G? And also, can I connect to popular IoT or home automation systems?
Sure. Our protocols are Modbus. On the batteries is CAN protocol. On the inverter is Modbus TCP protocol. We have the protocol available in case you want to do communication with third-party controllers. In case you want to link with the third-party monitoring portal, then GoodWe also has the API system. So we can link our SAMS monitoring portal to your third-party monitoring portal. So yeah, you're covered in all angles in terms of communication.
Okay, last question is from Karaoke Sami. In ETLV series, in terms of voltage and current, what is the best way to connect in parallel?
That is on the battery, right? The battery end, I think. Well, I think that's
Karaoke.
mostly on the battery end. On the AC, not really that much. I think it's on the battery end. So, yeah, what we'd like for you to have is a bus bar in between. So you have the inverters on the top, the battery cables coming from the inverters going to a common bus bar. Then from this bus bar, you have runs. So if I believe, let me just look. We'll attach an additional SLD on how you can parallel different inverters with lots of batteries. I think that's a key feature which will allow you to utilize the 6,500 cycles. The way we are going to share the SLD is not only applying on GoodWe battery, it's a technical feature, let me say, wiring that needs to be done on all kinds of lithium batteries, whichever brand, whichever make. So if you want to utilize your 6,500 cycles, we'll also attach an additional slide to this presentation before we share it so that you see how to wire more inverters and more batteries.
Okay, in the interest of time, since we've exceeded 10 minutes past our ending time, we'd like to thank you very much for your time to attend this webinar, for your questions, and also for choosing GoodWe as your preferred solar inverter and battery manufacturer. And on the marketing side, we do have our GoodWe LinkedIn page where we post our case studies, any events that we are having, any webinars, any trends, any industry awards that we receive. So kindly follow us on LinkedIn. I've shared the link on the webinar chat. And also, we have a GoodWe installer WhatsApp group. If you'd like to join this group and network with local installers, get to know what other people in the industry are doing, kindly WhatsApp me with this request. I have also included my WhatsApp number on the webinar chat. And I've also included my email address, which is caroline.kamau@goodwe.com. to address any partnerships with GoodWe that you may want in East and West Africa. And on the technical side, Patrick Osemo, who's our pre-sales engineer, will answer any questions that you have. So kindly send him an email on patrick.osiemo@goodwe.com. The email address is on the screen, and also it's on the webinar chat box as well. Before we conclude, I know this webinar was on residential three-phase solutions. However, we are currently running a promotion for our HT 100 kilowatt inverters. So this is a great opportunity for commercial and industrial installations. And this product is very reliable, highly efficient, and also handles very harsh environments. And so if you're working on big projects, may it be schools, may it be factories or estates, this is a very solid pick, which is a HT 100 kilowatt inverter. Again, we are running a promotion, which for this month, it's only valid for 1 month. So fast come, fast serve. So the pricing is very extremely competitive. So reach out and we'll sort you out with the details. Yes, thank you very much. And we look forward to seeing you in the upcoming webinars. Also, for all installers who are in Kenya, we have our weekly installer workshops, which we hold at GoodWe office here at Morningside. Sorry, here at One Padmore Place. So if you'll be available this Friday, kindly let us know. The training is from 11 to 12 and we'll serve lunch thereafter. So kindly, we normally send this information on the GoodWe installer group. So if this is of interest to you, kindly join the GoodWe installer group. Thank you very much for your time, Patrick.
Yeah, thank you all for joining us. Thank you for the much interactive sessions for the Q&A. We will be answering. That's not the end of our replies or responses. So reach out via email. So thank you. Get more documentations on that via that. In case you have any more inquiries, then yeah, my contact is there. My email is there in front of you on the screen. Feel free to reach out. I will be very much willing to answer your questions with regards to the GoodWe products, not only limiting you to the residential, but to the commercial and industrial as well as utility sectors. So happy to have you and have a good day.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.